Good morning, everybody. So today I want to show you how to make the little seaweeds, just like these ones over here. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is roll out a long skinny coil in green. So just to refresh your memory, if you want to do that, I usually start it in my hands first. And you can see I already rolled one, so my hands are turning a little bit green. So if you keep a paper towel or something near you so you can wipe your hands off in between colors, that's a good idea. Once I've rolled it in my hands, I'm using it on top of this piece of paper. It helps roll a thinner coil, but you can see I just kind of moved my finger wherever it looked bigger and just kind of rolled it pretty thin. So you want it definitely smaller than a straw. And you want that sucker pretty thin because you want it to be like maybe, like kind of the thickness of like a paintbrush, right? A really small paintbrush. Once you have that and you have your base covered in your rock color, and I highly recommend that you have that you bake in between these. If you don't bake between this one and the seaweed, that's probably okay, but it would be helpful once your seaweed's done that you bake your seaweed so it doesn't get broken. Okay, so once you have your coils, position yourself so that you can work on the far side. These are still bendable, so I like to just kind of bend mine in a position that'll be easier for me to work on. And then I'm going to take this coil of clay, and I'm going to do this from the bottom so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But you can smush it from the top if you want to. But you're going to take this coil and kind of smush it onto the wire. So you can see how the wire kind of runs down the middle of the coil, right? When you get to the end, just save the rest of that coil because you can always use it on the next one. So once you have that coil on there, then you want to kind of squeeze your fingers like you're pushing the clay up and around the wire. So you're trying to hide the wire without having the wire pop out the other side. So you're just kind of pushing it around and squeezing it a little bit. And that actually already kind of starts to make it look a little bit like seaweed. It actually looks like a sea bean, I don't remember what the scientific name is for it, but you're just going to kind of keep kind of smushing it around and turn it however you need it to be able to accomplish that. But you're going to try to get it as close to the base as you can. And you can always add a little bit of extra clay down there if you need it. But once you have that, so it's all the way covered, go ahead and flatten it just slightly. Just make sure it's stuck on there really good. Flatten it just slightly, and then here's the part that really starts to make it look like actual seaweed, okay? So I'm gonna take my fingers like this, and I'm gonna be using my first finger and my thumb, and I'm gonna be pinching, right? And so there's a little gap in between my fingers. That's where the wire's gonna go. And then where my fingers are, it's gonna be kind of making the leaves a little bit. So you can kind of see there ends up being like a ridge in the middle of this. And then you can see where my thumb was on each side of this, right? So start at the base as close as you can get. Do a little pinch. You don't want to pinch so hard that you see the metal. It's just a little pinch. Then you're going to move up a little bit, little pinch. 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 And you do that all the way to the end of the seaweed. Okay. And then at the top, you can just do one little single pinch at the top. It kind of just depends on what you like. But that starts to make it look like seaweed. So once you have all your seaweeds covered, seaweed, when it's in the ocean, it flows and moves with the water, right? So you want to bend your seaweed so that it's all kind of flowing in a similar direction. And you can see how I've bent the wire to create that kind of flowy movement, right? So just real careful. You're just going to kind of bend the wire just a little bit and try not to smush your design, right, that you just added in. So you get all of the seaweed covered, and then once you do all your pinching, then you can kind of move the seaweed around and make it look all flowy. All right, thanks everybody.